Hey everybody, happy Monday. It's December 1st. Hope you all had a great weekend. Let's jump right into the charts. So today, the SPY ATM play was a skip. It had a call print right here at 10:30 and it did actually work, but it's a low probability setup, so the algorithm recommended that we skip it. But as you can see, here it is, the 679 call. I think we did have a couple people get into this, and it did play out beautifully. But like I said, it was a low probability setup, and I didn't have any conviction to take this because it came out right here. We're between S1 and R1. We're still below the pre-market high and the previous day low, and the pre-market low here and the previous day high here. There's just nothing telling me that we were going up, but of course we did. So that's fantastic for those that got in on that play. Now, the other plays that we have with SRX, we've got many ways to play this system, but one of the ways is by taking the buy and sell arrows, which are triggered from the 8 EMA, which is our white line here, with our 8 EMA interacting with one of these support and resistance zones or one of these levels here, the pre-market or previous day levels. So if the 8 EMA and one of these levels and a candle all interact at the same time, that's what prints the buy and sell signals. So as you can see on my chart, I don't have any of the normal arrows, which are the buy and sell signals. I've got these circles, and that's because I'm testing a version of the indicator that has a bias filter on it. And when there's no clear direction, then the bias filter can either hide signals or it can print them with circles instead of arrows. So I just have it printing circles at like a 50% opacity just to set it apart from the rest. But you can see there were no actual buy or sell signals with the bias filter on today. Still some decent plays here if you're playing this with the arrows, but today is definitely a better day to either scalp on the 1 minute chart or possibly the 3 minute chart, or just play the traditional support and resistance like you normally would, a break and retest or rejection or a bounce, something like that. And you could see some of that did work out fantastically today. So can look at this. We had the break below R1, then we got the bounce off of S1, and then the break of R1, and here comes the perfect setup. We come back down, we test it right here, and we close above it. This would have been your entry, and up you go. So this is a picture perfect trade right here, and that was, if you held it all the way to the top, it was a 0.35% move, or almost $2.50 on SPY. So that's a fantastic zero DTE play right there. The stuff later in the day is very choppy. Definitely opportunities to scalp here, but this is not the type of price action that I'm interested in playing. So I only took one play today. I was on the road after 11 a.m. Eastern. So unfortunately, I missed this beautiful play by just a few minutes. I could have got in on this, and I probably would have taken this to right here. So for me, that would have been 0.16%. So what's that? A 40% play on a zero DTE at the money. If you're out of the money, then obviously it's a good bit more than that. But the safe play, that's a 40% play right there. Would have been an easy one to get without having to use any of the arrows today. But if you drop down on the 1 minute chart, there were lots of good opportunities down here. Now, we have to ignore some of these because the levels don't come out until 9:50. So these look like good plays, but we wouldn't have been in these because we didn't have the levels. But the levels would have printed right here. So you would have gotten this signal. And of course, we went up there. And then this signal, we went up. And then we had two signals going down. Now, again, you'd have to be scalping these because with the bias filter on, these are not actually arrows. It's just the circles, which means we don't have the bias. We don't have the trend established yet. So you could quickly get in and out of these. And even with something like this, if you're just taking it out on a close above the 8 EMA, it's a small play. It's 0.5, 0.6%. So that's probably 15% on a zero DTE. If you held it down just to your first target here for S1, that's 0.11%. So that's probably a 25 to 30% move, and it even drops lower than that. So easy to scalp these. Not a great signal here, but then we had a good signal here. And this was right before I left, so I was able to get in on this one. I saw this one forming. I jumped in on this, and I got out on the same candle. So it triggers here. I wait for the close just to get the confirmation. So I jumped in here, and I ran it up to there. And let's see, post your profits. Here's the beginning of the day. So this was me, a quick 14%. It was 122 to 139. I got in at 10:52 and I got out 49 seconds later. So 14% in 49 seconds. So again, 10:52. Let's just check this. That's right here. And I got in at 10:52:00. So I was right at it. I had my contracts loaded and ready to go as soon as this candle closed. So just right here was 14% move for me. Here we have Barry talking about the SPY ATM play that was a skip. He took it based on using SRX for guidance, and he got in at 202 at 10:35, and he got out at 322. So huge win for Barry based on ATM and SRX. Here's Lance with a almost 41% play based on SRX. So you can see he got in at 115. He got out at 162. We've got a bad trader here, 110 to 132, which is 29%. You can see the screenshot here. Then we've got Irwin. He's scalping from R1 to S1. Let's see what that looks like. So he must have played this right here. R1 to S1. That's a good move. Okay, so let's see. He bought 185 to 217, 171 to 184. So he had a good run there. Aiden, 142 to 155 and 157. He had a couple more plays, 102 to 114, 143 to 164. And Keith, 237 to 255. And he said he caught the bounce on one. Let's see what that was. So 235. So he was in here. 235. So, yep, he got this play right here. So he took that little bounce right there and went up. Now, this is the stuff. This is why I don't like playing these signals that don't have any bias. You will get chopped to death in this stuff if you're not careful. So you do need to be very careful when taking some of these signals on these lower time frames. I definitely prefer working with the higher time frames and waiting for my bias filter to kick in. And like I said, we'll have that going in a couple of days. So yeah, some great plays today with SRX. Hopefully you'll be around a little bit more tomorrow to do some trading. If you're interested in joining us, check the link in the description. And I think we still have the sale going on for our credit spread service and SPY ATM. This is the last day for that sale. I'll have that information in the description as well. All right, we'll catch you guys back here again tomorrow.